This is going to be a very short video showing how to create a collection in the MongoDB database and then insert a couple of documents in that collection. So it'll just be a very short introduction to what MongoDB looks like. I've already started MongoDB here, and I've issued the command show DBS, which will list the databases in this instance of MongoDB. We are going to create a database called temp, and then once we've created the temp database, we're going to create or insert two documents describing desk chairs or describing furniture. So we're going to call our database temp, and in order to create a database in Mongo, it's very simple. You say use and then the name of the database. And if the database does not exist, then it will create the database, and if the database does exist, then it will put that database in use. So as you can see, we have created the database and we have switched to that database now. So we're now in a database called temp. We're going to create a collection, what they call a collection. And a collection is something that is similar in concept, at any rate, to what they call a table in a relational database. So we'll go ahead and create a collection for products. And the way you do that, you use a syntax that is similar or taken from JavaScript. So we'll do a db.create collection. Get the spelling right here. Create collection. And we're going to call the collection products. And I see I've still got a small spelling error. Let me correct that. Okay, I think we're good. Yes, so we have created our collection called products, which is similar, as I said, to a table in a relational database. So if I were to do show collections, that would be something similar to the show tables in MySQL. So you can see it saying, okay, we've got a collection called products. And in order to list all of the entries in that collection, you use a find command. So that would be db.find. Well, actually db.products.find. And without any arguments to the find, it will list all of the documents in the collection. Now, in a real Mongo database, of course, this wouldn't be very useful by itself. You would want to restrict the results that it returned, because a lot of Mongo databases are, of course, huge. But for our purposes, you can at least see what the command does. Okay, so nothing. We don't have anything in there yet. That's what we expect. So now we are going to add a couple of records, or a couple of documents, as they call them in MongoDB. So we'll do a db dot, and then we give it the name of the collection, and we are going to do an insert, which will insert a document. And you may remember the insert from your relational database work. So yes, it is similar to that. This is going to insert a document, and the documents are JSON documents. And JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So they are text documents that are hierarchical in nature. And they're a very widespread way of exchanging information on the internet. And in fact, MongoDB was originally written, at least in part, to work with JavaScript web pages. So we are going to insert a document which has like 4, in the relational database world, we would call them fields. So the first field is name, and it is going to be standard desk chair. And you can use double quotes or single quotes. So that's our first field, if you will. Then we are going to put in the price. And again, one element price, and then the next element is going to be the brand. And you notice how we put a quote. So the quote sort of separates the field name, if you will, or the tag with the value. And so the value in this case is going to be cheap code. And these names are pretty much taken from Appendix P in the Coronel textbook. And now we're going to add our fourth one, which is going to be the type. And that's a chair. And that's the last one. So we're going to terminate it at this point. So the right curly brace will close off the opening curly brace. And so everything between the curly brace is basically a JSON document, or an object, if you will, which we are passing to the insert function. So we're going to hit enter now, and as luck would have it, it did work with no typos. So we now have one document in our database. So what if we want to print it out? Remember the db.products.find, and that will print out everything. And later videos we'll get into how to restrict that to a particular document or documents. But for now we'll do them all. And you'll notice there it is. Now we can make that a little easier to follow by doing a pretty print, if you will. So we just append another function to the end, and then that will print out in a little bit easier to read format. And you see what it's done. It's created an object ID, then I added the 4 elements: name, price, brand, and type. So let's add one more, and then that will sort of conclude at least this beginning video, which creates a small database and collection. All right, so we're going to do the same kind of thing, but this time we're going to do a little bit different. That the brand, instead of the brand being just one value, which is cheap code, we are actually going to, we are going to actually insert a nested document in there instead, which shows you how these JSON documents can be nested in a hierarchical fashion. So let's go db.products.insert. So far so good. And the first thing is going to be name as before. And the name is going to be cushioned desk chair. Okay, we got that, cushioned desk chair. And the price, we'll give it a price this time of $2.50, a little more luxurious. Now we're going to insert the brand. And here's where things differ a little bit. So instead of just putting in a value, what we're actually going to do is we're going to insert 2 fields for the brand, which are going to be the name and the phone number. So to insert an object, once again, we open up the situation with a left curly brace. And now we are going to do name colon. And let's say in this particular case, we're going to call it cost code. The brand is going to be cost co. And we'll add a phone number as well. So the phone then is going to be 555-. /1212. So that's our name and our phone number. Those are going to be the two elements that we're going to use for the brand. So let's put in our right curly brace, which kind of closes off this object, if you will. And then we'll move down to the type, which is just like we had in the prior document. So type is going to be, again, going to be a chair. And we are going to close off our entire document and go ahead and pass it to the insert function, which once again worked, luckily. So now we will do db.products.find, and again, let's do a pretty. Whoops, got too many P's there. Products.find.pretty to make it a little easier to follow. So you can see the way that these JSON documents work and the way documents in Mongo work. Each document in the collection doesn't have to have the exact same structure like you would have to have in a relational database. So the documents in the collection are kind of oriented towards the same subject, but they don't have to have exactly the same structure. And they can be hierarchical in nature, and they can be searched and organized and updated and deleted and so forth, as we will see in future videos. So for now, that will conclude this demo, and we will carry on in future videos with Mongo.